In China, if you walk into a traditional medicine clinic and tell a practitioner you're tired, or your digestion is off, or your sleep isn't right, they don't immediately reach for a pill. The first thing they'll often do is recommend a specific tea, brewed from specific herbs for a specific reason. That practice is over 3,000 years old. And what's interesting is that modern research keeps going back to these herbs and finding active compounds that actually do what the tradition claimed, which tells you something about how seriously people were paying attention. Now, today we're going through 12 of them, 12 Chinese herbal teas with genuine, documented restorative effects on the body. These teas are quick, accessible, and targeted at specific bodily systems that many people quietly struggle with. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. Let's get into it. Number 1. Ginger tea, Shengjiang cha, the body's warming engine. We start here because if there's one herb that appears in virtually every traditional Chinese medicine formula for digestion, circulation, and immunity, it's ginger. It's been used in Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years. And the reason it's lasted that long is simple. It works. Ginger contains gingerols and shogals, compounds that inhibit the same COX-2 inflammatory pathway that pharmaceutical drugs target. They improve digestive motility, reduce nausea significantly, the research on that is quite strong, and warm what Chinese medicine calls the middle jiao, the digestive center responsible for turning food into energy. Ginger tea is also one of the more effective things you can drink at the start of a cold or flu. It promotes circulation, produces a mild sweat that helps the body push pathogens out, and has documented antiviral properties. Slice 4 or 5 thin rounds of fresh ginger root and simmer them in 2 cups of water for 10 to 15 minutes. Strain, add a squeeze of lemon, and a teaspoon of raw honey. Drink it warm. That's the whole preparation. 10 minutes, no special equipment, and genuinely one of the most useful teas on this list. Number 2. Chrysanthemum tea, Zhu Hua cha. The liver and eye cooler chrysanthemum tea is probably the most widely drunk herbal tea in China. It's served in restaurants, in homes, in offices, and the reason it's so embedded in daily life isn't just that it tastes pleasant. It's that Chinese medicine identified its specific function, and people noticed it working. In TCM, chrysanthemum is classified as a herb that clears heat and calms the liver. In modern terms, that maps to anti-inflammatory, antihypertensive, and hepatoprotective effects. Research confirms chrysanthemum tea has genuine blood pressure-lowering properties through vasodilation. One study showed it improved alcohol metabolism and helped protect the liver from damage. It's also high in vitamin A, potassium, and iron. The eye connection is one of the most interesting things about chrysanthemum in TCM. It was specifically prescribed for eye strain and tired eyes, which in the context of screen fatigue is remarkably relevant. The flavonoids have documented anti-inflammatory effects on ocular tissue. Place 6 to 8 dried chrysanthemum flowers in a cup. You want the whole flowers, not a cheap dust-filled tea bag. Pour water that's just below boiling and steep for 5 minutes. The water turns a beautiful pale gold. Add a small piece of rock sugar or a drop of honey if you want sweetness. Drink it in the afternoon or evening. It doesn't contain caffeine and has a mild calming effect. Number 3. Goji berry tea, Goji zicha. The blood and vision tonic goji berries have had a trendy few years in the West. A lot of the marketing is exaggerated, but the traditional application and the genuine research behind specific mechanisms is worth understanding separately from the hype. Goji berries have been used in Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years, specifically as a liver and kidney tonic, and for what practitioners described as brightening the eyes. The active compounds include zeaxanthin and lutein, carotenoids with well-documented protective effects on retinal health, along with polysaccharides that have immune-modulating and adaptogenic properties. The antioxidant profile is genuinely strong. They're also rich in vitamin C, iron, and zinc. Research shows Goji polysaccharides support liver function, enhance immune response, and have mild anti-aging effects at the cellular level. They also have a documented effect on blood sugar stabilization, which is relevant for anyone with energy fluctuations throughout the day. Add a small handful, about 15 to 20 dried goji berries, to a cup of hot water. Steep for 5 to 8 minutes. The berries rehydrate, and you can eat them after drinking the tea. They're nutritious enough to be worth consuming. You can also combine Goji with chrysanthemum, which is a classic pairing in Chinese medicine for eye health and liver support. Number 4. Jujube and Longan Tea. Hong Zhao Longyan Cha, the deep sleep and blood builder. This combination, jujube dates and longan fruit, is one of the most prescribed pairings in Chinese medicine for sleep, anxiety, and what TCM calls blood deficiency. And it's worth understanding what that term actually means, because it's more specific than it sounds. Blood deficiency in Chinese medicine means the blood lacks the richness to anchor the mind during sleep. Symptoms include light, unrefreshing sleep, fatigue, and a low-grade anxious feeling without obvious cause. Jujube dates are rich in saponins, with genuine sedative and anxiolytic properties in research. Longan nourishes what TCM calls the heart and spleen, meaning it supports nervous system regulation and digestive absorption simultaneously. The combination is specifically targeted at the kind of sleep disruption and low-grade anxiety that a lot of people experience but can't quite name. Both are also high in vitamin C, iron, and potassium. Jujube specifically has a protective effect on the liver and anti-fatigue properties confirmed in modern research. Simmer 5 to 6 dried jujube dates, slice them open to release the flavor, with 8 to 10 dried longan fruits in 3 cups of water for 20 minutes. Strain and drink warm in the evening, about an hour before bed. The taste is naturally sweet and mild. This is one of the more pleasant tasting teas on this list, genuinely something you'd look forward to. Number 5. Astragalus Root Tea, Huang Qi Cha, the Immune Foundation Builder Astragalus. And this is one that I think deserves far more attention in everyday conversation than it gets, because the research on it is genuinely impressive and the traditional application is very specific. Astragalus root, Huang Qi, is the primary herb in Chinese medicine for strengthening what's called Wei Qi, which translates roughly as defensive energy, or the body's outer immune shield. In practical terms, this is the immune system's capacity to resist pathogens before they establish themselves. Research confirms astragalus polysaccharides significantly enhance immune cell activity, natural killer cells and T lymphocytes, and have adaptogenic properties that help the body resist stress. There are also studies showing it supports telomere maintenance relevant to cellular aging. It's not a herb you take when you're sick. You take it consistently to build the resilience that means you get sick less often and recover faster when you do. Simmer 2 to 3 slices of dried astragalus root, or a tablespoon of powder, in 2 cups of water for 20 to 30 minutes. The tea has a mild, slightly sweet, earthy flavor. You can add goji berries to the same pot for a combined immune and tonic effect. Drink 1 cup daily during the cooler months specifically, or year-round as a consistent wellness practice. Number 6. Hawthorn Berry Tea, Shan Za Cha, the Heart and Digestion Tea Hawthorn Berry Tea. This one surprises people when they learn how specific and well-researched it is, because it doesn't have the mainstream name recognition of ginseng or goji, but the pharmacological evidence behind it is actually quite strong. Hawthorn, Shan Za, has been used in Chinese medicine for centuries for 2 primary things: cardiovascular support and fat digestion. And research has confirmed both. The flavonoids in hawthorn have documented effects on improving arterial flexibility, lowering LDL cholesterol, and reducing blood pressure. Several clinical trials have shown hawthorn extract improves outcomes in mild heart failure. On the digestion side, hawthorn stimulates digestive enzyme secretion and bile production, particularly effective for breaking down fat. Chinese medicine prescribed it after heavy meals for this reason. Steep a tablespoon of dried hawthorn berries in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes, or simmer them for a stronger preparation. The tea is tart and slightly fruity, pleasant with a small amount of honey. Drink it after a heavy meal for the digestive benefit, or daily in the morning for cardiovascular support. Quick pause here. If you're finding this genuinely useful, drop a like and let me know in the comments which of these you've tried, or which one you want to start with. I read every comment. We're halfway through. The next 6 get into some of the more interesting and less well-known teas on this list. Number 7. Honeysuckle Tea, Jinyin Hua Cha, the natural antibiotic tea honeysuckle tea. Jinyin Hua, which translates as gold and silver flower, referring to the way the flowers turn from white to gold as they open. And this is one of the most specific anti-pathogenic herbs in the entire Chinese medicine tradition. Honeysuckle is classified in Chinese medicine as a herb that clears heat and resolves toxicity, which in practical terms means it treats infections. And the modern research is unusually specific here. Honeysuckle contains chlorogenic acid and luteolin with documented antibacterial activity against Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus, and respiratory bacteria, plus antiviral properties studied against influenza. It reduces throat and respiratory inflammation directly. This is a tea that Chinese families reach for at the first sign of a sore throat, fever, or upper respiratory infection. It's essentially the TCM equivalent of reaching for an antibiotic, except it's been used for this purpose for over 1,000 years, and the antimicrobial compounds are now identified and confirmed. Steep a tablespoon of dried honeysuckle flowers in hot water for 8 to 10 minutes. Drink it warm 2 to 3 times daily at the onset of a cold or infection. You can combine it with chrysanthemum flowers for a combined anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial effect that Chinese medicine practitioners have used together for centuries. Number 8. Osmanthus tea, Gui Hua Cha, the gentle skin and stomach soother osmanthus. And this is one that doesn't get talked about much, outside of Chinese tea culture, which is a shame because it's genuinely lovely. In taste, in effect, and in the research behind it. Osmanthus flowers are small, intensely fragrant, and have been used in Chinese medicine for centuries for 3 primary things: calming the stomach, improving skin clarity, and lifting what TCM would describe as stagnant qi, meaning a kind of low mood or emotional flatness. The fragrant compounds, linalool, geraniol, and non-anal, have documented anxiolytic effects. The polyphenol content has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, and osmanthus specifically supports the mucosal lining of the stomach and gut, which is relevant for anyone with digestive sensitivity or low-grade gut inflammation. In Chinese culture, osmanthus is associated with quiet, grounded happiness. The mild mood-lifting quality is real and distinct from sedation. A teaspoon of dried osmanthus flowers steeped in water just off the boil for 3 to 4 minutes. Don't oversteep, the flavor becomes bitter. The tea has a delicate, almost apricot-like sweetness that needs nothing added. This is one to drink slowly, in the afternoon or evening, when you have a moment to actually enjoy it. Number 9. Schisandra berry tea, Wu Wei Zi Cha, the 5-flavor adaptogen Schisandra. Wu Wei Zi, the name means 5-flavor fruit in Chinese. It's called this because Schisandra berries genuinely hit all 5 tastes: sour, sweet, bitter, salty, and pungent. In Chinese medicine, a herb that encompasses all 5 flavors is considered to work on all 5 organ systems simultaneously. It sounds like marketing until you look at the research. Schisandra is a genuine adaptogen with particularly strong effects on liver function and mental performance under stress. The active compounds, schisandrins and gomicins, have documented hepatoprotective effects, reduce cortisol under stress, and improve mental endurance and concentration. Studies show Schisandra specifically improves reaction time and cognitive accuracy under fatigue. Chinese medicine used Schisandra for calming the heart and quieting the mind, nervous system regulation and mental clarity in modern terms. It genuinely does multiple things at once. Simmer a teaspoon of dried Schisandra berries in 2 cups of water for 15 minutes. The taste is complex and quite intense. Genuinely, all 5 flavors are present. Some people love it immediately. Others need to acquire the taste. Adding a little honey softens the sourness. Drink 1 cup daily, ideally in the morning or midday, not the evening, as it can be mildly stimulating. Number 10. Licorice root tea, Gansao Cha, the harmonizer licorice root. And I want to be clear up front, this is a very different thing from licorice candy. The root itself, as used in Chinese medicine, is one of the most widely used herbs in the entire tradition. It appears in more classical Chinese formulas than almost any other single herb. And the reason is specific. Gansao, licorice root, is called the harmonizing herb in Chinese medicine. Its primary function is to moderate the effects of other herbs in a formula, preventing harshness and helping the body absorb and utilize the other ingredients more effectively. But on its own, it has genuine therapeutic properties. Glycyrrhizin, the primary active compound, has anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and anti-ulcer effects. It soothes the mucosal lining of the stomach and throat and prolongs the effect of natural cortisol in the body, relevant for people with chronic exhaustion. It's particularly useful for throat inflammation, stomach ulcers, and deep tiredness that doesn't resolve with sleep. Simmer a small piece of dried licorice root, about 3 to 4 centimeters, in 2 cups of water for 15 minutes. The tea is naturally quite sweet and pleasant, with an anise-like flavor. 1 cup daily is appropriate for most people. Don't use it long-term in high amounts without guidance. Glycyrrhizin can affect blood pressure with prolonged heavy use. Number 11. Lotus leaf tea, He Ye Cha, the circulation and clarity tea, lotus leaf tea. This one is less well known in the West, but it's been a staple in Chinese wellness culture for centuries, particularly for metabolic health, and what Chinese medicine calls clearing dampness, which is essentially the accumulation of sluggish, stagnant fluid and metabolic waste in the body. Lotus leaf contains nuciferine, quercetin, and alkaloids, with documented effects on fat metabolism. Research shows it inhibits fat absorption, reduces triglycerides, and supports cardiovascular health. It has a gentle diuretic effect without depleting minerals. Chinese medicine used it specifically for people who feel heavy, sluggish, and mentally foggy, what we might recognize as metabolic sluggishness. The alkaloids in lotus leaf also have mild cognitive supporting properties. The Buddhist tradition used lotus specifically for mental stillness during meditation, and that effect is real. Steep a tablespoon of dried lotus leaf in hot water for 8 to 10 minutes. The tea has a light, slightly grassy, clean flavor. Drink it in the morning before eating for metabolic benefit, or after meals to support fat digestion. Consistent daily use over a few weeks is where the real effect becomes noticeable. Number 12. 8 Treasure Tea, Ba Bao Cha, the complete restoration blend. And we end with this one, 8 Treasure Tea, Ba Bao Cha. And I saved it for last because it's not a single herb, it's a formula. A combination of 8 ingredients that Chinese medicine assembled specifically to cover the full spectrum of restoration in a single cup. The classic blend typically includes goji berries, jujube dates, longan fruit, chrysanthemum flowers, lotus seeds, dried rose petals, rock sugar, and green tea. Each is targeting something specific: liver and eyes, blood and sleep, digestion, emotional balance. The formula covers the full spectrum of daily restoration in a single cup. What makes this formula intelligent is that it's not trying to do one thing intensely. It's restoring balance across multiple systems at once, which is exactly how Chinese medicine thinks about health. Add all the ingredients to a teapot or large cup: a small handful of goji berries, 2 or 3 jujube dates, 5 or 6 longan fruits, 3 chrysanthemum flowers, a few lotus seeds, 3 or 4 dried rose petals, a small piece of rock sugar, and a teaspoon of good green tea. Pour hot water over everything and steep for 5 to 8 minutes. Refill with hot water 2 or 3 times. Each infusion pulls out slightly different compounds. This is genuinely the most complete restorative tea on this list, and it tastes beautiful. That's the power of these 12 teas. They aren't just comforting, they're designed to gently restore balance where your body needs it most, a principle validated by both ancient tradition and modern research. Pick your starting point based on what you're dealing with. Number 4 for sleep, 5 for immunity, or 1 or 6 for digestion. Start there, give it 30 days, and see what changes. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Drop a comment. Which of these are you going to try first? I love reading your comments. See you in the next video.